Our next speaker was the public face of the new social media and tech world in the TV show called Electronic Playground. In youthful mid-stride, he was struck down by, of all things, a stroke. He has turned his steady recovery into a blessing for himself and many others around him. He was forced to slow down and has become a veritable font of some pretty interesting insights. How wonderful to have him back on his feet. Please welcome Scott Jones.
I'm from New York City, and I've been living in Vancouver for 7 years now. People work on their bodies all the time here. Look around you. The room tonight is filled with beautiful, super-toned people. Some of you are even wearing yoga pants to the Vancouver Playhouse, which isn't really appropriate, but okay. I belong to the Y on Burrard Street. That place is absolutely packed every day. All these people with determined faces that are just like, got to make my body more beautiful. This is a young city, much younger than New York. And like any adolescent teenager, it's a very vain city still. Everyone on Robson Street could be holding a sign up that says, shopping for yoga pants, then I'm going to a spin class with Cindy. I like that we take such pride in our bodies here. I do the same thing. But I wonder sometimes if we carry it a little too far. I got off the airplane at YVR 7 years ago with about 3,000 books, like an asshole. I had all these suitcases filled with books, and I had 2 adult cats. So basically, I was the cover of a Harlequin romance come to life. Dreams do come true. You don't know this because you live here, but in other parts of the world, they warn you about the rain in the Pacific Northwest. They say things like Vancouver gets more rain in a week than some of the states in the US get in an entire year, and which translated basically means you'll be tempted to hang yourself on a somewhat regular basis here. It really does rain like hell here. I remember a stretch in my first year when it rained for 40 days. It was the first time I ever Googled life jackets plus cats. The rain is why it looks like the werewolf in An American Werewolf in London. I'm not. The rain is why I brought my books here. Here are the 10 most read, most treasured books in my apartment. There they are. Those are the 10. You can stack them that way, just horizontally, or you can also do a little mix and match. You got some horizontal and some vertical. Or you can also do this third option, which is a little more casual. These look like some books who are on break. Based on the books you've seen, many of you are drawing conclusions about me. Some of those conclusions positive and some negative. Because that's what bookish types do when we see someone else's books. We draw conclusions about that person. And if you invited me to your home, I would do the same thing to you. It's as involuntary as breathing. 42% of you are thinking, what the hell is Ball 4 doing in there? Let me tell you something. Ball 4 is a terrific book. It's one of the first honest books ever written about Major League Baseball. Prior to Ball 4, baseball books were tonally along the lines of, Mickey Mantle was a Greek god who came down to earth to live with the humans. But Ball 4 showed him as he truly was. And I'm not going to tell you what it says about him, but ask me after the talk, I'll tell you. All the books that you see up here, Tobias Wolff's This Boy's Life, Flannery O'Connor's Collected Stories, Dennis Johnson's Jesus' Son, I vouch for these books 100%. I have read them all dozens of times, and I will read them a dozen more times, God willing. What a mysterious and wonderful thing it is to read. I didn't appreciate reading enough until I had a stroke in 2014, and I lost the ability to read. I could still read words individually, but by the time I reached the end of a sentence, I could no longer remember the beginning of the sentence. So I left books behind, and I binged entire seasons of shows on Netflix. And because of that, my stroke-hobbled brain got a little softer and a little lazier. And then something amazing happened. After 18 months, my ability to read came back. I read more carefully now, more purposefully. I don't push myself too much out of fear that I might lose it again. And I feel grateful and lucky to be able to do this amazing thing again, something that I'd foolishly taken for granted all my life. What a mysterious and wonderful thing it is to read, truly. The chapters on Howe and Robson is unfortunately closed. And in true Vancouver fashion, a sporting goods store is opening in its place. God help us all. When this happened, I wanted to leave Vancouver then and there. A city without bookstores isn't a city that a man with 2 adult cats and suitcases full of books can really live in. Then I found something amazing. 4 humble, used bookstores on the east side of downtown, all within a 2-block radius of one another. McLeod's, Albion, Criterion, and the Paper Hound. They're all on Pender and Richards. They're filthy, they're chaotic, they're interesting. It stinks in McLeod's. It's not sanitary in there. But what wonderful places these bookstores are. With the perpetual rain and the constant cloud cover, this is indeed a great city to be a reader in. So frequent these bookstores and define yourself by finding 10 books that mean the world to you. Because you all have beautiful bodies, Vancouver. Sincerely, you do. Just continue to give yourselves beautiful minds, too. Thank you.